Earlier, Deputy Minority Leader Franz Castro has signified her intent to do a second round of interpellation. Representative Castro is now recognized. For the second round, you have 3 minutes to.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Point of order,
Point
Madam
of
Chair.
Point of order.
Representative Abante is recognized.
I was in the list for the first round, Madam Chair. Will I be recognized?
Me too, Madam Chair.
Considering that the last interpellator was from the majority, we now return to the minority. To the minority. We will follow the list of interpellators.
Madam Chair, we go by rounds. Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Representative Rodriguez
Yeah,
is recognized.
just to clarify, we go by rounds. We are still on the first round because we are listed in the first round. I just happen to be at the DPWH, which that's why I just came in. So we should restore because you should go back to the first round. I'm number 5, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Noted, but we will follow the list since
Yes.
Representative B.H. Herrera is now present. We now recognize Representative Herrera for
Thank
her
you very much.
interpellation from the
Madam Chair,
minority.
point of order, Madam Chair. You called my name a moment ago. I'd like to find out when are you going to call me again. Me too.
You
B3.
are number 23 on the list.
Yes, but you already called my name.
Yes, before the motion
Yes.
was withdrawn.
So would we continue the manifestation or interpellation, Madam Chair,
We
with
will
me?
continue with interpellation.
Huh?
We will
No.
continue the interpellation, and I would like to apologize for the confusion.
So what number do I have now in the list after Congresswoman Herrera?
After 2 more interpellators.
Okay, thank you. I'm willing to wait. I'm very patient.
Thank you very much, and I apologize for the
Madam Chair.
confusion. Yes, Representative Ako.
I said I would have loved to ask questions.
Yes, I will
what
give you
number
the-
am I now?
After 4 interpellators.
I was listed originally as
At
number
number
11.
11.
I've been here a while ago. I did not leave this seat.
If Representative Abante will allow, may Representative Ako interpellate before you?
Madam Chair, no, I'm not going to allow it.
Recognize Representative Herrera for her interpellation. Please, thank you very much.
Madam Chair, point of order, Madam Chair.
Kaya nga, pero wala pa ako.
Madam Chair, point of order.
What number am I now?
Yes, Representative
Point of order,
Gomez.
Madam Chair. With respect to all our colleagues here, we come here, we try to come here early for the past several days, joining all the deliberations, Madam Chair, and we try to get listed. Now, if our numbers are called and we are not here, you mean to say that if we come back?
Yes, you can. Yes,
Yeah, but what my point is, Madam Chair, if we miss our turn, they'll have to wait again. Yeah. You know, if we are already number 7 and number 4 was called and number 4 was not here, therefore let them wait until matapos yung nagpalista. Otherwise, I will just tell our assistant in our offices that before we open the sessions, we will get listed as number 1. Then we can go wherever we want and then come back and have the privilege of being able to speak, Madam Chair. Thank you.
the chair takes notes of his manifestation. Let us proceed, Representative Herrera. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Welcome po kayo sa minority. Sa amin po maiksi lang ang pila. Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, thank you very much. Magandang tanghali po sa DND family. Secretary, good afternoon. Well, my questions mostly for the disaster prevention po natin. Yung 1.5 billion po ba ng OCD, is this really enough para i-cover lahat ng national emergencies po natin, Madam Chair?
I would yield to the OCD, ma'am, so that I will not agree. But my answer is no, actually. But Ariel.
Your Honor, the quick answer is it's not enough. The basis of the answer is the historical record wherein the NDRRMC, of course, OCD through the NDRRMC has historically requested for additional funds to shoulder or to finance the list of requests from the other agencies plus the LGUs. And if we will make a ballpark figure, that will be more or less 10 billion historically is being requested by way of supplemental budget from the OP.
So how come hindi siya nabibigay? How much have you spent from now in 2023? How much was your budget and how much have you spent so far?
From
Mr.
the
Chair.
total amount of more than 19 billion, nasa ano na lang po tayo, 9 billion plus. 9 billion plus na lang, ma'am. And if I may explain, Your Honor, this year is a bit more peculiar than the other years because of one, there was an oil spill that the agencies managed, and with that oil spill, the direct assistance by all the government agencies that responded spent a total of more than 650 million direct assistance. This does not include the operational expenses of the agencies, especially the AFP units, including the Coast Guard. So the direct assistance will be not less than 650 million, plus the ongoing eruption of the Mayon volcano. To date, the combined assistance already spent or given by the different agencies will be around 370 million. I'll check my figure, ma'am.
Yes, please.
394 million pesos already. So if the question is with regard to the operating budget of OCD, of course, if we can be granted more, better. But for the QRF and the NDRM fund component will be concerned, the answer is not enough, both aspects of our budget.
So if I'm correct, Mr. Chair, diba all agencies, mayroong quick QRF, meron silang NDRMC fund. This is also what OCD uses. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Every agency has their own,
QRF.
a QRF to spend for. And once critically depleted, meaning it's defined as if it reaches 50%, they can already request for a replenishment.
So, Madam Chair, ano ba to? Everything passes through OCD. They have to seek your approval for every QRF of each agency para concerted yung efforts natin. Does this happen?
Actually, the agencies can directly, the answer is no, ma'am. The agencies, by practice, they can go directly to the DBM for approval for the requested replenishment for their QRF that has already been depleted by around 50%.
And does DBM through you, Madam Chair, decide on this without coordinating with OCD?
The answer is yes, ma'am. But OCD will just be informed if there are requests granted by the agencies.
Madam Chair, do you have DBM here? Because hindi ko alam kung may expertise si DBM to decide kung saan dapat dalhin yung QRF ng OCD if hindi dumadaan sa OCD. Is this something that's allowed na dapat sila na lang mag-decide? Walang alam ang OCD, biglang bababa na lang yung pondo?
If we will revisit, Your Honor, the the RA 10121, which is the law, the basic law that created the NDRMC framework, and also the corresponding MC 110, Memorandum Circular 2021, issued by the NDRMC Full Council. Actually, it's not required for the DBM to ask OCD for approval. So, but OCD, if you revisit the RA 10121, there is a general obligation for OCD to help manage the NDRIM funds. But for process, insofar as process is concerned, it's not a requirement for DBM to seek the approval of OCD for DBM to release or approve the funds requested by the different agencies.
Madam Chair, through you, do you think that's correct? Is it something na dapat ginagawa natin na hindi concerted yung efforts? Kasi hindi mo alam na nauubos yung pondo ng OCD, in other words?
Madam
Because
Chair,
DBM can
may
just release.
answer also.
Yes, please. Yes, Mr. Secretary. I want to be clarified here.
Actually, when I saw the big difference between the old NDCC and the NDRIMC, no, I think we really are in a process now of soul searching and also coordinating and organizing our efforts. The QRF is only one part of it.
Yes.
It's actually the concerted response down in the regional level where I am concerned with.
Okay.
Because I think the NDRIMC was a forerunner to the potential establishment of a FEMA type of establishment. But I think that with the size of our country, with the resources that we have, I think it's coordination within and among agencies. And if there is a QRF that has to be done, the council decides, it should decide because it's interagency, where to put it and report with DBM. But nonetheless, we are constrained by DBM regulations. And we will talk to them about it. A lot of cabinet members have come together to really recognize the vulnerabilities in the structure, particularly post-pandemic. So right now, I don't think hindi na ho nagsawa na siguro sa akin si CDA sa kapupukpok ng coordination between and amongst agencies, no, particularly ho sa response. And we in others where our expertise is limited, even po sa makiusap din po sana tayo sa mga local government units na sana mas survey natin ang kanilang bilateral financial arrangements na grants sa mga mitigation projects na baka ma-overlap din po ng national mitigation projects. Kaya kailangan ho talaga may pagsasalin at tatatag po ng mas effective coordination procedures between and among agencies.
Yes, Madam Chair, what is the possible solution? Baka pwede ko kayo mag-submit sa amin here sa Congress para magawa naman po. We'd like to help you on that because medyo prone tayo sa disasters and we need to do something about it. We can't have DBM just deciding for us nang hindi natin alam pare-parehas at hindi concerted yung efforts with all the national government agencies. Mr. Secretary.
Yes, Madam Chair, we will submit if we find, but I think we can make it work just as long as we define the proper role of the NDRRMC.
Can
As
we
to
do
what
that before plenary, Mr. Secretary? Submit to us so that we know also kung meron kaming special provision na kailangan
Yes.
ilagay.
Yes, Madam Chair, we shall do so.
Okay. And my next question, Madam Chair, is do we do disaster prevention? Because parang nakikita ko lagi lang tayong response. But what about our budget for prevention? Because prevention is key in our country.
Ma'am, to explain hopefully more clearly, there are 4 pillars or clusters within NDRMC. The first will be the mitigation cluster being handled or headed by the DOST. And then second, of course, will be the preparedness cluster being headed by the DILG secretary. And then yung pong sinabi niyo po, Your Honor, the response cluster is being headed by the DSWD secretary. Kaya more often during response season or actions, nandun lagi of course ang DSWD secretary and our secretary. And then lastly, for the recovery is NEDA. So the answer to the question, if are we doing all the other aspects, the answer is yes, but being done through the different pillars. But if the question, ma'am, pertains to the funds, do we have funds to finance preparedness projects? For the DOST, they do highly scientific preparations like platforms. In fact, they have rolled out, and it's been recognized even at the level of the United Nations, their Plan Smart platform. But for hard infrastructures, that's what I was explaining earlier, wala pong ganong capability ngayon, ma'am, and we're not allowed to do big projects for preparedness. Limited po tayo dun sa parameters that what we can fund for big projects will be those infrastructures that have been damaged within 2 years from the occurrence of the calamity, and then this should be only for the purpose of repair or rehabilitation of damaged infrastructures.
Madam Chair, kaya ako po ito binibring up also, Mr. Secretary. I just came from DPWH and there's a 213 billion flood control project. And if it's flood control, that's also disaster prevention, which I feel that OCD or NDRM should also go into and look into it kung saan ba nakalagay itong flood control. I just asked them na sana pwede bang catchment basins yan para at least maipon na yung tubig at mailagay sa farmers. Marami siyang purposes eh. But the coordination is really key. That's why I'm asking, mas importante for me is disaster prevention to prevent these disasters from happening. And if we have an agency with a 200 billion flood control project, then maybe it's something that we can look at para masama din sa flood-prone areas at yun talagang lagyan in terms of prioritization.
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you for mentioning that. Actually, we were included in the briefing to the President for that. And Secretary Loizaga and Secretary Bunuan were at the head of it. That's why I instructed the CDA, because there was a bilateral flood control project with one of the LGUs that would be subsumed by the Metro Manila and other areas integrated flood control project. So we really need that coordination mechanism.
I agree with you, Secretary. That's why I'm bringing this up. Anyway, so siguro I just like to put that on record, Madam Chair, na that's something that we really need to seriously take a look at. Yes, I think Mrs. Sabinsi.
I-clarify ko lang po. The different agencies, of course, they are also concerned with preparedness projects. But just to clarify, those projects will be included in the regular GAA.
Yes.
What I was trying to explain earlier was the utilization of the NDRRM funds that are limited for the purpose of repair only, ma'am.
Well noted. Thank you. Madam Chair, my next question is on the accomplishment of the AFP modernization program. Kamusta po ang procurement natin? Are there delays on this one? Yung sa Horizon 1 natin was just, kamusta po ang
Marami hong naging delay, Madam Chair, because number one, nagkaroon ng pandemic, nagka-supply chain problems. Number two, sa akin, mabuti na rin po na nagka-delay kasi kailangan ho baguhin din natin ang mga horizons natin based on the new threats that we receive.
Yes.
Kaya irerepasuhin po namin ang mga horizon na naman bago po mag-submit po sa inyo.
Ay, thank you. Madam Chair, on the long range patrol aircraft project, there was a study or there was a report that I saw na dapat siya brand new. Was this brand new? Was this delivered to us brand new?
Wala pa pong long-range patrol na.
So wala pa.
Wala
So
pa
there's
po.
nothing yet.
Wala
Okay.
pa po at saka brand new po.
Yeah,
Pero
kasi ano itong
i-request din
requirement
po
natin
namin. I-request din po namin sana sa mga TORs even in brand new condition sana kung pwede. Kasi po kahit na mga airlines hindi gumagamit ng brand new naman most of the time. Basta brand new condition po na may attached warranties naman po.
Yeah, Madam Chair, through you, I'm just curious, Mr. Secretary. I don't know, mas kabisado, mas expertise nito. Because ang laki ng kailangan natin, ng needs natin. Is it possible sa tingin mo to arrange for lease agreements instead of buying everything? Kasi para mas marami tayong ma-accomplish with a lease agreement, mas sabay-sabay. But I don't know in terms of security, that's why I'm asking. I'm just asking.
Pwede ho siguro, Madam Chair, Madam Sponsor, lease purchase. Pero ang problema po, normally, the leasing companies are private entities. And secondly, they will require insurance premiums, which will have restrictions on how we can use them. And normally, if it's used by a military entity, that's an exclusion. Unless we pay a rider, an amount for the rider. Congressman Rodriguez is an expert in insurance law. We have to pay extra premiums for it, which will not justify probably the cost of the lease.
Okay, baka lang, check nyo na lang din, Mr. Secretary. Last na lang, Madam Chair, ang dami pong COA findings and recommendations sa iba't ibang departments ng DND. Baka dapat, ano na po ang compliance natin with COA with regard to this? Hindi ko na po maisa-isa sa dami po nito eh.
For this year po, there are 17 open findings po sa main office and may iba po sa other agencies, no? I take personal charge with the COA and I have a task as a management parameter the resolution of open items. That's part of my private sector undertaking as head of agency. It's my responsibility to do so. And if I ask the COA also to place a heat map whether these are high risk, low risk, medium risk findings, or it is a funding problem to solve it, or it is a staffing problem to solve it. For example po, sa DND building, dahil wala po kaming capital outlay, hindi po PWD friendly ang DND building. Hindi po namin mapagawa. At iisa lang po ang elevator. 1947 pa ho yata yung building na yan dahil wala po kaming capital outlay. So we will not be able to comply with some due to funding constraints.
Madam Chair, pasabit na lang po before plenary as to how you could, because these are still parang more than 100 pa na issues that are not implemented by the whole DND family. So, ang dami pa po, like sa OSEC, 12 pa po, 12 out of 26, sa GA, 5 out of 62, sa NDC, sa OCD, 21 out of 40, sa PVAW, 16 out of 38. So there's still a lot, Madam Chair.
Please wind up,
Yeah,
Representative Herrera.
Karamihan po dyan, partially implemented, pero tinututukan ko po talaga. Because I don't like open findings.
Thank you. I look forward to that because there are many unliquidated balances
Opo.
in each department. Thank you very much,
Yes,
Madam Chair. That's all. Mr. Secretary, please tignan po natin yung ating disaster prevention and mitigating measures
Yes, Madam.
and the
Madam
coordination.
Chair.
Salamat.
Salamat po.
Thank you very much.